Right. First, I want to thank you for having me. My name is Philip Mutua Kilonzo. I'm a former MP aspirant, Mavoko sub-county. Once I was a director, Brand Kenya board. I was also the chairman of Mavoko, that is Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company. And lately, I'm a former CECM, that is County Executive Committee member, Machakos County, where I held the portfolio of the Minister for Lands, Urban Development and Energy. I want to thank you for visiting me on this huge and important subject of leadership, because like one leadership guru, Maxwell, said, everything will start and end with leadership. Meaning leadership decides everything in life. It decides on the roads we will be traveling on. It decides on the water we drink. It decides on the hospitals we will attend, the schools our children will go to, and even the air we breathe can be affected by leadership. So really, leadership is everything in life. And that is why I feel compelled as a Kenyan that we should start engaging on a more important topic, that is leadership. And from the onset, I want to say politics is not necessarily leadership, because I believe that is where we've gone wrong over the years. We have always thought that politics is leadership, and the two are wide apart. And it is the high time now, as Kenyans, we have tasted politics from independence until now. I believe now it's the high time we start talking about leadership, because leadership is really what will take us to the next phase or the next stage as a country. Naturally, a good leader is a good listener. That's really one of the starting points of leadership. A leader who cannot listen to the people he leads is not really a leader worth their salt. As a country, Kenya, we have been treated to a lot of drama when it has come to leadership. And this drama, according to me, cannot take us far, because what we are seeing really is the always who in Kenya trying to create their own spaces at the expense of the common mwananchi. It is the high time leaders stopped thinking about themselves and started thinking about the citizens. Because really, leadership has everything to do with the citizen and not the leader himself. When we will come to understand that point, that I don't seek for leadership for me, I seek for leadership because of the people who follow me, then real leadership will start reigning in Kenya. I want to say this from the onset. As Kenyans, we have always thought that politics is leadership. And I almost want to categorically refuse that politics is not necessarily leadership. Politics has everything to do with business. A politician is a political businessman, simple. He is there for profit. He is not there to lead the people. He is not there for the benefit of the people, but he is there because he has invested And of course, where there is investment, there are returns. When I invest on any business, I expect profits. And that is where politics differs from leadership. In leadership, I want to say this, that when I want to lead my people, I'm not leading them for me. And I don't seek really the seat because I want to benefit. I want to lead my people to some place I have been. Giving us the next second point, you cannot lead people and take them to where you have not been. That is why we have failed also in Kenya. We have had many leaders who don't have the capacity, simply because they have never been anywhere. They are leading us to nowhere because they don't have any vision on themselves. They don't have any vision on ourselves. Because really, you cannot take us where you have not been. We'll all wander in the wilderness and get finished there. So the first aspect of a leader is that the leader must be above board, somebody who can lead by example, somebody who can be a real a role model for the people he is leading in terms of every sphere of life, whether politically, spiritually, mentally. He should be somebody who can be copied, and when they copy him or her, they will get better, and they will reach their aspirations faster, or even they will be able to reach those aspirations because the leader has taught them and has led them towards that direction. Let me say this about political parties. If there is one element which has made us not to get true leaders in Kenya, is because of political parties. People join political parties not because of the ideologies of the party, but because that is the only way they know to get into the seats they want. Most political parties have been turned into businesses. Without naming any party, I believe in many parties, the aspirant must buy the ticket for the party, mostly. And that is why we get recycled leaders all through. Because once you are known by the party leader, and you have the money, of course, you'll have the money because of the CDF, for example, if you are the MP. And since you have been working also, even if you are not the MP, you are something else, you still have some money from your salary, so you are able to pay the party leader. Notwithstanding, most parties in Kenya are based on the tribe. They are tribal based. I've not really seen one national party in Kenya which you can say in the course that's a national party, because whether you want to hide under what, the truth is most of our parties are really political cocoons benefiting only the party leaders. How I wish that people would elect a person, not a party. It's a pity that once you stand with a certain party in a certain region, you are almost guaranteed of your seat simply because you have stood with that party. Not minding what kind of a person you are, what character you depict, but simply because you have stood with this particular party which is the most popular in that region or amongst that tribe, then you are guaranteed of a seat. And that is where many of us have lost it, because we normally elect people we don't know. We only elect them on party basis. Say this, I think Kenyans are smart now than we were many years back. There are some people who would like to cheat us that they can give us money. And I don't think there is any money they can give us to be enough for us to survive. The best thing is not to give people fish. If you are a leader, the best thing you can do is to teach your people how to fish. Because if you give them a fish today, they will eat that fish today and tomorrow they will demand another fish. But if you can teach them how to fish, once they know, they can take care of themselves. So, when people go around ditching money from whichever source, I don't know, because I don't think there is anybody surely who has innocent money and they can go dishing out like that. But whatever they are doing, I really want to say this cannot be a solution. Teach the people how to look for their own money. I want to say this. The Kenya of today is not the Kenya of yesterday. Those leaders who cannot understand now we are in a totally different season politically, they will not survive in the coming elections. Kenya has now become wiser than it was those many years. You cannot rule us the way Moi ruled us. You cannot even rule us now the way Uhuru ruled us just a few years ago. We are in a totally different dispensation politically altogether. Whether people like it or not, the Gen Z movement is a revolution which nobody can stop. This is like fire. You can cover it with a blanket for some time, but let me tell you, the blanket will get burnt and the fire will show its true colors. Anyways, leader now will have to understand that the people we are dealing with now, especially the Gen Zs, are not those usual people we think about. These are not people you command. These are people you can only reason with. So if you cannot reason with them, friends, now we don't know the Kenya we are living in. My advice to every leader who is holding some place now, please start engaging Kenyans, because the citizenry is totally changed now. We have wiser youth who are more informed, I believe even more than the leaders. Even to advise the IEBC. I want to thank the IEBC. It's a new body, we cannot blame it. But I can only say this. The IEBCs of former years must be different from this IEBC. You cannot, for example, plan stealing or going astray from the constitution now, because the citizenry we have right now are much wiser. They will be able to discover anything which is happening beyond what is normal. So my advice to IEBC is, please shape up. These are not the Kenyans who could be duped, who could be cheated with servers and such things. Please, let us all aspire to make Kenya better for all of us. So to the IEBC, do your work. You are an independent institution. Be independent in truth, not in paper. I want to say this about our economy. To say the truth, the biggest problem we have as Kenya is that we live beyond our means. From last year, I think it's last year results, as a nation we are only able to collect some 2.2 trillion, which we are meant to understand. A trillion goes with foreign and external, with external and the debts we get from within, and the rest 1.2 goes with the recurrent expenditures and salaries and like. So in essence, Kenya, from the monies we make, the monies we collect, there is nothing for development. If we really want to be a serious nation, we can never develop this nation if all we collect is going to pay debt and into people's pockets. It has to come to a time where we will stand as a nation and say, this is the exact position. What should we do? And this is what I expected. This is what I expected the President Ruto, when the Gen Z's movement came up. Actually, these are some of the things I expected him to talk about. Because how can we spend more than we earn? It is madness. So my take is this. As a nation, we'll have to sit down and see what best we can do, because as you all know, a nation can only run on two kind of funds: the taxes we collect and borrowing. At the end of the day, we are left with nothing. If we have to develop this nation, we have to borrow. We have to sit down as a nation and decide, do we want to continue borrowing, or should we first deal with what we have? In Kenya, I believe this, that if we had a serious administration, we will have enough money to pay our people, to pay our debts, and some for development. I say this because there is so much wastage in government. For example, the Constitution did away with the former provincial administration. Now, that former provincial administration is still there, and now the devolved units have their own parallel administration. If this is not duplication, I want to know, then what is this now? Is there a time we sat as a nation and said we cannot afford this or the other? And let us be true to ourselves. There's also a lot of wastage. I've been into government. There is a lot of wastage. People traveling unnecessary trips. For example, you'll have a certain department meeting in Mombasa all the way from Busia, as if Busia has no city halls where they can hold their meetings. But simply because we want to earn per diem, then we take our meetings over. This is the kind of wastage we are talking about here. The former president is on record saying that the Kenyan nation loses about 2 billion per day because of these kinds of things here. A lot of wastage in the government. If we had a strict and a sound administration, I believe we can put this Kenya on the right path economically by doing away with wastage, by doing away with duplication, and by doing away with any other kind of wastage which can be discovered easily in our nation.